It's the first 100 days of a Labour government. Keir Starmer meets Ursula von der Leyen. Is this a new era in UK-EU relations? Welcome to Bridge the Channel. Welcome to another episode of Bridge the Channel, the first episode under the new Keir Starmer government, where we're finally able to say what this government is all about after its first 100 days in power. Now, it's fair to say that those first 100 days in power have not been greeted with enthusiasm by the British public. There's a lot of news of economic gloom and a lot of dysfunction in Downing Street. But of course, what we are interested in is the EU-UK relationship. And the main development of that front has been the first meeting between Keir Starmer and the President of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. And this is the basis of this commission that we can start assessing what the UK wants from this relationship and how it plans to get it. Now, this is really a tale of two meetings, which show the two different approaches that the UK takes to its relationship with the EU, as well as the limit of those approaches. The first meeting was back in August, and it was a bilateral meeting between Keir Starmer and the Chancellor of Germany, Olaf Scholz. It was a bilateral meeting between the UK and Germany. It produced a bilateral treaty on security and defense cooperation, and it was a meeting between two like-minded center-left leaders like Starmer and Scholz. It was precisely the kind of setting where the UK feels comfortable doing things in its relationship with Europe. But the most important meeting, of course, was the one between Keir Starmer and Ursula von der Leyen in Brussels, a meeting that showed that both leaders are committed to improving the atmosphere between them, but it also showed how difficult it is for both of them to start agreeing on things. The meeting was quite notable for both leaders agreeing that they will continue talking and will continue monitoring their relationship, but it was also notable in both leaders actually really laying out their disagreements and their different priorities between them. On the EU side, their main demand is something that the UK will find it very, very difficult to agree and deliver on: increased mobility of young people into the UK. And on the UK side, we still see the persistence of the Brexit mindset of wanting to have economic benefits without committing to the rules of the single market. Fundamentally, the UK is still stuck in the Brexit mindset of having your cake and eat it, only with warmer words and a nicer face. There seems to be more goodwill between the two sides. That is something very positive, but it's also worth asking at what point this goodwill will turn into frustration when both sides realize that the other is not willing to give in to the other's demands. So this was the first Bridge the Channel of the new Keir Starmer government, where we were finally able to assess the approach of the new government in its relationship with the EU. Now, of course, the UK-EU relationship does not play out outside of a broader geopolitical context, which includes, unfortunately, the war in the Middle East. And perhaps the main development that will determine the actions of the two sides in the international scene in the coming years: the outcome of the US election a month from now. And it's precisely this thing that we will cover in our next episode: the results of the US election and what they mean for the EU-UK relationship. Until then, take care.